Former President Trump is staying defiant, of course, after receiving a target letter in the January 6th investigation. Trump hit the campaign trail in Iowa just hours after posting that revelation about the target letter on social media. While speaking to voters in the Hawkeye state, the former president criticized investigators. CBS News has also learned more about the potential charges the former president could face. They include conspiracy to commit an offense or to defraud the U.S. For more on all this, Finn Gomez and Scott McFarland join me now. Finn is CBS News' political director. Scott is CBS News congressional correspondent. Scott, I want to start with you on Capitol Hill, where you often are the person best able to take the temperature of revelations, either on the Hill or that interpose themselves on Capitol Hill. The target letter is one of those things interposing itself on the day-to-day business of Capitol Hill. What's the reaction so far, especially among Republicans?
Well, if you walked around here with a microphone and a camera all day, you'd be asking a lot of questions about Donald Trump. And if you gave truth serum to everybody you were speaking with, they would say, can we talk about something else for a change? Republicans have not shifted their political support for Donald Trump, not one bit, after this news about the target letter. Ultimately, they're reinforcing the argument that they believe this is a weaponization of the government and the Justice Department by the Biden administration, hoping to take out their likely 2024 rival. Never mind the fact this is an independent special counsel who sent the target letter. Some of the language in the target letter really is resonating here among the president's critics. There is a sense in the language in the target letter that it's possible a charge of obstruction of an official proceeding could be one of the charges levied against Donald Trump. That is a charge the Department of Justice has brought 310 times by our CBS News count against January 6th defendants. There's quite a foundation for bringing that type of charge in this type of January 6th connected case. What's more, it's already gone through the appellate courts and been upheld. Feels like it's a strong foundation, and the president's critics say they expect an indictment, they expect it in short order, and they expect this case could have a size and scope that transcends the already quite large case filed in Miami.
Finn, I want to talk to you about this phenomenon around the indictments and the rallying around the former president. There is a conversation that sometimes happens in dietary circles about a sugar high. Is there an indictment high that the former president's campaign is enjoying, meaning it's here and visible but may not last? I don't know. What do you hear?
What I'm hearing is that, yes, they believe that this indictment high, if you will last, that they will build politically off of this. They already have.
That it's durable.
And that it's durable, that it can be sustained. You're also seeing, as we saw in the open, that his rivals even remain somewhat tepid in their criticism, though it's sharpened a little bit. You saw DeSantis in South Carolina saying that that Trump should have acted more forcefully
on January 6th.
On January 6th, correct. Vivek Ramaswamy even said he would have made different judgments to President Trump, and Nikki Haley said that this is this legal drama is drowning out essentially the rest of the field. So you are seeing an uptick of that. However, if you talking to base voters, seeing the poll numbers, Trump's trajectory continues to go high in spite of this.
And Scott, you talked to some Republicans, Lindsey Graham and J.D. Vance, both in the Senate, about this. What did they have to say?
Among the most fervent and loyal Trump supporters in the U.S. Senate are just those two, J.D. Vance, freshman senator from Ohio, Lindsey Graham, senior senator from South Carolina. They had a variety of defenses for Donald Trump and a variety of criticisms for this prosecution. Take a listen.
I think Donald Trump can't get a fair trial in the District of Columbia. Why is that?
Well, he got 5% of the vote. You can indict a Republican for almost anything and get convicted in this city. There's places that Biden couldn't get a fair trial. So, yeah, I believe that.
You don't think a jury can put the politics aside and say, here are the facts?
No.
If the special prosecutor is going to indict the former president and the likely leader of the opposition going into this presidential campaign, I think it suggests the Department of Justice has been completely politicized.
We're also getting reaction from members of that House Select January 6th committee. Major Jamie Raskin says that this target letter is further indication that nobody has laid a glove on the findings of that select committee and that it has been unimpeachable and untouchable, a work product that was produced by the committee and potentially used by the investigators at the special counsel's office.
Ben, I want to ask you about this thing that is being presented to the American public and particularly Republican primary and caucus voters. January 6th was, we saw it on live television, the interference of an official congressional proceeding.
Right.
Fact. You can't dispute that. A congressional proceeding was delayed, therefore it was interfered with. There is now an effort by the special counsel possibly to hold the former president criminally accountable for that. He calls that election interference. Well, the delayed proceeding was about certifying an election. So if you're delaying a certifying election procedure, you're interfering with an election result. And yet this is being presented, and all polling indicates Republican primary and caucus voters believe it and embrace that. That dichotomy, that upside-down logic.
You know, I think famously you remember Kellyanne Conway talking about alternate facts.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, there's like an alternate timeline, alternate dimension, perspective here from the MAGA base, from what we're hearing, the talking points we're hearing from the former president to Capitol Hill to the campaign trail. It sounds like an echo chamber, right, Major? It sounds the same. And you're seeing there is that dichotomy you speak of, and it's this alternate universe of facts, frankly, and it's permeating throughout the political landscape.
And Scott, to your point a moment ago about truth serum, trust me, every Capitol Hill reporter wishes they had vial upon vial of truth serum, but none exists. Do you consider, based on your interactions with these Republicans, this to be a genuine, and to use Finn's word, durable alliance with the former president, or temporary and conditions-based, particularly legal conditions-based, as this plays out?
Been asking those questions to Republicans ever since January 6, 2021, more than 30 months. Haven't noticed shifts, deviations, or any permeability to Republican support for Donald Trump in the bulk of those 30 months. It really does have staying power. And to your prior point, Major, not only was the official proceeding clearly obstructed January 6th, but this has all been litigated hundreds of times. Every single D.C. federal judge hearing a case has agreed, acknowledged there is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that there was an obstruction of an official proceeding that day. There's no wiggle room on that issue in this courthouse where presumably this case would go.
And Finn, very quickly, do you anticipate that the former president will participate in the first Republican presidential debate next month?
I would not be surprised at all if he is not there.
If he's not there?
If he is not there, I would not be surprised.
And that's the sort of sounding you get from the Trump inner circle.
Right. He's up 30 points in most national polls. He's up high in the early state polling. Why? Why
make himself a target?
Why make himself a target? He doesn't have to. He's running basically as an incumbent right now, essentially within the Republican primary. So.
And what about the ego dimension? There are all the other Republicans say his ego won't allow him not to be there.
Yeah, but at least comparable. If you compare this time around to previous cycles, there's a little more discipline, I feel, from his team, including like he has, Chris LaSavita, he has Susie Wiles, some strong folks there. I do not expect him to be there.
Finn Gomez, Scott McFarland, we thank you.